If your organization processes, stores, or transmits payment card data, then PCI compliance isn't optional. It's essential. As a security leader, it's your job to ensure that payment systems are protected not just from technical threats, but also from regulatory and reputational risk. The payment card industry is not a government body. It's a collaboration among major credit card brands: Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, and JCB. Together, they form the PCI Security Standards Council, PCI SSC, to standardize how organizations protect cardholder data. Your key concern here is the PCI DSS, or Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. This is a set of requirements you must follow if your systems handle cardholder data or sensitive authentication data. You need PCI DSS because it forms the foundation of secure payment environments, and your leadership role depends on enforcing it effectively. First and foremost, PCI DSS is about security. It protects cardholder data from breaches, theft, and fraud. When you follow the standard, you're putting in place proven defenses to secure sensitive information at rest and in transit, reducing the risk of compromise. Second, PCI DSS is about trust. Your customers hand over their most sensitive financial information with the expectation that you'll protect it. Any sign of non-compliance, or worse, a data breach, erodes that trust and can damage your brand's reputation permanently. Demonstrating compliance reinforces that you take data protection seriously. Finally, you must think about liability. If a breach happens and you're found to be non-compliant, the consequences are serious. You could face heavy fines, lawsuits, regulatory scrutiny, and potentially lose the ability to process card payments altogether. That's not just a security issue, it's a business risk. As a leader, it's your job to balance the technical requirements of PCI DSS with broader business accountability. This standard gives you a structured way to align security expectations across your IT teams, operational processes, and any third-party service providers involved in handling payment data. When done right, PCI DSS becomes more than a checklist. It becomes a foundation for trust and operational integrity. As a cybersecurity leader, it's your responsibility to ensure that your organization's payment systems are secure, compliant, and trusted. The Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, PCI DSS, is your guide for doing just that. It includes 12 high-level requirements grouped under 6 security goals, all designed to protect cardholder data and reduce the risk of breach. Let's break down each of these goals into actionable leadership insights. You begin with your network foundation. Install and maintain a robust firewall configuration to protect cardholder data. Firewalls act as your first line of defense, so don't rely on out-of-the-box settings. Replace any vendor-supplied defaults for system passwords or configurations. They're often publicly known and easily exploited. As a leader, ensure your team routinely audits firewall rules, retires legacy configurations, and applies segmentation to isolate sensitive systems. Data is your most valuable asset, and PCI DSS expects you to protect it at all stages. You must secure stored cardholder data using strong encryption, hashing, or tokenization. Additionally, encrypt the transmission of this data across any public or open networks. Encryption isn't optional. It must be enforced from end to end. Make sure your solutions protect data both at rest and in transit, and that your teams understand where this data lives and how it flows. You can't protect what you don't scan. Ensure your systems are equipped with regularly updated antivirus software and monitored for known vulnerabilities. Lead your team in developing and maintaining secure software development practices, and prioritize vulnerability scans and timely patching. Budget for automated tools and make vulnerability remediation part of your operational rhythm, not a reactionary task before an audit. Not everyone needs access to cardholder data, and PCI DSS makes that clear. Access must be restricted by business need to know. Every user and system accessing sensitive data must be authenticated, logged, and monitored. You should implement identity and access management, IAM controls, that align with least privilege principles. Physical access to systems handling payment data must also be controlled. This is your opportunity to build a zero-trust architecture that's both secure and auditable. Visibility is essential. You must track and log all access to systems that touch cardholder data. These logs need to be retained and reviewed for anomalies. Your security tools must also be tested regularly, including intrusion detection systems, firewalls, and access controls. Lead the charge on implementing centralized logging, real-time alerting, and regular penetration testing, not just before assessments, but as part of your proactive security posture. A good policy is more than a document. It's a living part of your culture. Ensure that you maintain a comprehensive information security policy that applies to all employees and contractors. This policy should define acceptable use, training requirements, escalation paths, and control ownership. As a leader, your job is to make sure these policies are not just written, but understood, enforced, and refreshed as the threat landscape evolves. PCI DSS isn't just about passing an audit, it's about embedding security into the DNA of your business. Each requirement reinforces the other, and together they create a strong foundation for trust, resilience, and operational integrity. When you lead PCI efforts strategically, you go beyond compliance. You become a guardian of customer trust and business continuity. As a security leader, you must understand that PCI DSS isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing life cycle that demands continuous attention, adaptation, and leadership. Treating it as an annual checklist sets you up for gaps and failures. Instead, you lead your team through a strategic cycle that keeps your organization secure and your compliance posture strong throughout the year. Assessing is your first step. In this phase, you scope your cardholder data environment, CDE, to determine which systems, people, and processes fall under PCI DSS requirements. You identify gaps, evaluate current controls, and validate whether your practices align with the standard. This step is all about clarity. You can't protect what you haven't defined. As a leader, you ensure this assessment is thorough, involves the right stakeholders, and sets the foundation for actionable next steps. Remediating comes next. Once you've identified the gaps, you prioritize fixes based on risk to the business and regulatory impact. Whether it's patching vulnerabilities, redesigning network segments, or updating policies, this is where you demonstrate your ability to lead with urgency and focus. You're responsible for ensuring teams have the resources, timelines, and authority to make meaningful progress, and that remediation efforts are documented for audit readiness. Reporting closes the loop. This is where you document your compliance status and submit the required reports to your acquiring bank or card brand. It's not just about paperwork, it's about demonstrating governance. You must communicate clearly with both technical and non-technical stakeholders, showing how your security and compliance efforts align with business risk management. Your reporting validates the work done and prepares you for the next cycle. PCI DSS compliance is not just about passing an audit, it's about building a system of trust and accountability. As a leader, your job is to oversee the life cycle, ensure that compliance is continuous, and promote strong collaboration between IT, security, finance, legal, and operations. When done right, this life cycle becomes a strategic asset, not just a security requirement. As a cybersecurity leader, your role in driving PCI DSS compliance is about more than meeting requirements. It's about shaping a culture of proactive, risk-aware behavior across your teams. These tips will help you lead your PCI efforts with strategy, precision, and confidence. Start by narrowing the field. The fewer systems that handle cardholder data, the easier it is to manage compliance. You should work with your teams to clearly define and document your cardholder data environment, CDE, ensuring everything outside the scope is segmented and justified. Reducing scope not only simplifies controls, but also lowers your overall risk exposure and cost of compliance. If you don't need to store or process card data directly, don't. Use PCI-compliant third-party vendors to handle payment data or implement tokenization to replace sensitive cardholder information with non-sensitive equivalents. This move significantly reduces your compliance burden and shifts liability to parties better equipped to manage it securely. You still own the risk, but you offload much of the operational overhead. Manual compliance checks are not scalable. Use automated tools that alert you in real time when systems fall out of compliance. Whether it's a misconfigured firewall or an outdated patch, automation ensures you catch issues early. As a leader, invest in monitoring platforms that integrate with your existing tech stack and empower your teams with real-time visibility into the health of PCI-controlled systems. Don't wait for an auditor to point out weaknesses. Engage a qualified security assessor, QSA, before your official review. Use pre-assessments and gap analyses as opportunities to strengthen controls, not scramble under pressure. Treat every audit as a learning opportunity to refine processes, build resilience, and demonstrate a mature approach to compliance and risk management. Leading PCI efforts effectively means creating a program that's not just audit-ready, but business resilient. By applying these principles, scoping wisely, outsourcing smartly, monitoring automatically, and preparing proactively, you set a standard of leadership that not only meets the letter of PCI DSS, but embodies its spirit. So, what's your leadership takeaway? PCI DSS is more than just a set of controls. It's a reflection of your organization's commitment to trust, security, and operational discipline. As a leader, your role is to ensure compliance is not just achieved, but sustained. You're not chasing rules, you're building resilience in one of the most targeted areas of your enterprise.